Hello, everybody. Glad you're with us here. It's a Tuesday, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Man, it's a cold one out there, so take a coat when you leave this morning. I just let the cat out. That's about as close to getting outside as I've gotten. I don't know about you, Barry. What's it like down there in Pike County?
Well, I don't have a cat or anything, so I had zero reason to open up the door at all this morning, but it is cold. I got the pullover here, and it's feeling like football weather, not like Buffalo, San Francisco weather the other night, but it was pretty cold in Denver last night.
Yes, it was.
And I guess everybody, if they had forgotten before, I guess everybody was treated once again to the full Jameis Winston experience.
Is he still in the league?
Oh, he has been, the Browns spent so much money on Deshaun Watson and locked him up for so long, and he's been so bad, with, I guess it's an Achilles tear or anything. Jameis has come on, and he's been throwing it all over the place. They lose last night. The Browns lose. Sorry, Gunner. Browns in a battle of Jefferson County, Alabama high school quarterbacks.
How about that?
Pinson Valley's Bo Nix beats, I've got myself out there on it now. Bessemer, something like that. Jameis Winston. All right, guys, do your thing. Let me know. He's not from Hewitt-Trussville. Jameis, maybe he is. I don't know.
It's been so long since he's played high school football. I've kind of forgotten. I've forgotten he was still in the league. I mean,
oh my gosh, he's been
drafted by Tampa, went to the Saints. Now he's at the Browns, and taking advantage of the situation, no doubt.
Back in 2019, Heisman Trophy winner Jameis Winston was with Tampa Bay. He led the league in passing yards. That year, he threw for over 5,000 yards for the Bucs. 33 touchdown passes.
How many interceptions?
Hang on. I'm getting to that.
Okay, yeah.
5,109 passing yards. Led the league. It was phenomenal. Yeah. 33 touchdown passes. Second in the league. Led the league with 30 interceptions.
I remember something about that.
He is talented. But, man, he will throw it to the other team. Whew, yeah, Jameis is from Hueytown. Thanks very much, guys. I don't know why. I knew he was from Hueytown, home of Jay Barker, I believe.
Of course, we all remember that valiant comeback in the Rose Bowl for the national championship that he pulled off.
Yes, we do.
I forgot who they were playing that night. But,
anyway, last night, Bo Nix was really good.
And
Jerry Jeudy was really good.
I got to tell you, I kind of like those Bronco uniforms last night.
Yeah, they're all right. I like them too.
Those. Yeah,
the white helmets. John's kind of partial to white helmets. I don't understand.
They look good.
He's been banging the monkey for the white helmets. Anyway, Bo Nix was good for the Broncos. Jameis Winston throws for a Cleveland Browns record 497 yards. He threw for almost 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also threw 3 interceptions.
That'll happen.
2 of which were returned for touchdowns, 2 pick sixes.
Ooh.
And that was interesting. Jerry Jeudy, by the way, who used to play for Denver, was terrific. 9 catches, 235 yards. But the Browns lose 41-32. Those 2 pick sixes.
Man, that was the difference. Was Gunner able to stay up till the end of the game? Could he?
Yeah, it took a while. So was his 8-year-old Hunt, my buddy.
I'm sorry. The 8-year-old. He was able to stay up for the whole game.
So that was that last night. Very entertaining game. Anytime Jameis plays, it's like thrills and spills. It's like a roller coaster because he can look so good, but he does not mind throwing it to the other team.
Yeah, he is. He's not scared. He is not scared to throw it out there.
But he's not.
There. But, good game. You wouldn't have thought that those 2 teams, you're kind of thinking, couldn't they have got anybody better on Monday night? But, heck, it was a good game nonetheless.
Yeah.
Maybe got our mind off the big conversation that seems to be dominating in this part of the world is who's going to make the college football playoff. Going back and forth, scenario here, scenario there. Tonight, we might have a little bit better feel based on the college football playoffs release of the latest bracket or top 12, however you look at it. Of course, the one that matters the most will be the one after the conference championship games. I don't know if fans are getting their hopes up. I don't know if some of them are just down in the dumps, not thinking they're going to get in. Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Alabama, has thrown his 2 cents in about why he thinks the Tide should make the playoff. Luke and Bill here yesterday gave us a roadmap of how they can do it.
The things that Alabama really needed to have happen last weekend, they happened. Clemson lost. Miami lost. So they've got a little bit of a better chance. This is the last one before the one that counts, like John says. They had one for some unknown reason, November 5th. They had a rankings November 12th, November 19th, November 26th, 4 absolute wastes of time. Today is the final one of the rankings. Next week, this Sunday after the college football playoffs, December 8th, is the one that counts. It's the only one that counts. So Alabama's not playing, can't help themselves. In the latest playoff rankings, they were number 13, but ahead of them, Clemson lost, Miami lost. They've got a shot.
They got a shot.
Which I did not think they would. But everybody keeps talking about watch out for brand bias.
Well, yeah, and I got to see it before I really want to comment on it. You know, is the committee going to go that far? Now, Theotis doesn't think it's going to happen. He's actually posted the same thing twice already in 5 minutes of the program. That leads me to believe is something I've said many, many years. Would Auburn people rather see Alabama lose or their team win? I wonder about that. I get the sense that maybe Theotis and a group are thinking, please, 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 please don't let Alabama in the 12-team playoff. Let something bad happen to them this year. And I said it yesterday. My eyes don't tell me they're playoff worthy.
Right.
I've seen them play some bad football, particularly those 3 losses in which they encountered in the regular season, 500 teams. To me, that's got to play against them. The loss to Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, to me, from what I'm hearing, that just doesn't seem to matter. I got to know it does somewhere. It's got to matter. But, yeah, they've beaten 3 top 25 teams currently ranked, and they beat some other teams with winning records and blah, blah, blah. But to me, Barry, do the 3 losses, shouldn't that hurt?
They should. Those did happen. This is why, somebody had on yesterday on the chat line, about strength of schedule, they've played a lot of really good teams. They've lost to some very average teams, though.
Yes, they have.
The strength of schedule, should be a positive factor. If you lost to some of those, if you lost to Georgia, or if you, lost to LSU, but the teams they lost to, they had Tennessee, but they had no business losing to Vanderbilt. They had no business losing to Oklahoma, especially in the manner they did.
None.
So I feel like you can miss me with we played so many. Yeah, but the ones you lost to, never. I don't care if you played a bunch of 0-11 teams or a bunch of 11-0 teams. Don't lose to the ones you lost. Those are bad losses.
All they had to do was win out, Oklahoma and Auburn. And they go lose to an Oklahoma team that's 500 that just got beat by LSU last week.
Yeah.
And I feel like reading some of this propaganda promoting Alabama's chances is kind of like Simone telling the teacher where Ferris was. I'm thinking, what now? Number 2 in opponent winning percentage. Number 2 in opponent winning percentage. Number 4 in ESPN FPI. And number 4 in ESPN efficiency ratings. What is an efficiency rating? You know what? I got up on time today, ate my breakfast, cleaned the dishes. I was very efficient today. I'm number 4 in efficiency rating.
Yeah.
Number 10 in strength of schedule, number 17 in number 10 in strength of record, number 17 in strength of schedule. 3 wins against teams currently ranked in the college football top 25 poll.
Again, that's a great thing. That last one to me is the most important one. That's the one you hang your hat on. 2 things. Number one, the nation doesn't care about ESPN FPI efficiency rankings. They want to know who you beat.
Power index. What is FPI?
That's the one where at the bottom of your screen it says, before the games, it says Rice has a 67% chance to beat Sam Houston State or something.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You still got to play the games. Alabama, the games they won, hey, more power to them. Absolutely. But it's the ones they lost and the manner in which they lost.
It's hard to get that bad taste out of your mouth. You can
look
put all
at
the
that.
Listerine in there you want. But, if you got chronic bad breath, losing to Vandy in Oklahoma, that's hard to get rid of.
Again, the nature of it as well. Alabama never led in either one of those games. Both of them on the road. Both of them were not exactly circle games. And they did not play well. They did not play like a top 12 team, really 3 different times. So, and the Bama fans, don't limit yourself. I understand the mindset. Don't limit yourself to thinking, oh, look at the odds. They really want us to get out. Oh, look at that. Preston says he didn't post the same thing twice. He just moved it down, which I didn't know you can do. I like doing that.
Hey, make sure they see this.
And all he's doing is reporting.
Yeah.
He reports that ESPN just posted that Miami and Arizona State get in the playoff and Bama doesn't. That Oklahoma waxing and losing to a hospital really cost Bama football. So he's just reporting. I mean, the Bama stuff, he kind of adds on to it. But here, don't sit there and, get all giddy about it. Hey, there go the Obs. They're not playing or anything. They don't want us to make the playoffs. Don't limit yourself. All across the country, nobody wants you to make
Bama
the playoffs.
Fatigue. There's no doubt about that.
It's nationwide.
Miami's loss to Syracuse was pretty bad. It's a pretty bad loss.
Yep.
There again, if ESPN is reporting this, then let's just go ahead and make our hotel reservations. They don't know. I mean, maybe this is their projection. Maybe this is what they're feeling. But as far as I know, nothing is written in stone at this moment. But there again, eye test, I don't know. But there's another test, Barry, that I like to use that I want to kind of get into when we get back from our first break. We got a lot going on today. Of course, Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com at the bottom of this hour. He'll join us. We'll also talk to Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide with Travis at the top of the next hour. We've got the Victorland 777 topic, Will, today. You better believe it. And there again, along with a gauge, a measuring stick that I would like to see used, that I want to talk about when we return. I heard of another possible option that could be in the future of college football when it comes to a playoff, particularly when it expands in 2 years.
It's already too big. There are teams that are going to get in this thing who don't deserve to be in it. John says even more. Now, is the new gradient, is the new quotient that John's talking about it? You hear about LANK and NIL. Is the new one LET? Is the new quotient LET, Longshore Eye Test?
Well, is that what idea?
You got, this is Helms. This is what Lichtkenhouse says. This is what the ESPN 5. This is what Longshore's eye test says.
Speaking of Lankberry, where did Brian Harsin get that Lank T-shirt? Did they sell those in Boise or wherever he is?
I don't even know where he is, to be honest with you. Yeah, they got gas stations in Boise. That's where you buy stuff like that. It's 15 minutes into the live show. We are glad you're with us today. LSU Mark says, hey, John, where's your Christmas tree.
Yeah, I see that. If the wife, and I know she's looking, I got to think she's going to be working on that today. I don't know where I'm going to put it.
No. Not my
I mean,
wife.
do I move my Auburn National Championship football or one of the many Alabama National Championship footballs that I have? I just have that one. That's the only one I have displayed. I don't know where I put it.
I kind of like your Braves edition baseball bat.
Well, that's actually my son's baseball bat.
I'm teasing.
Yeah,
there is no way John's going to put a Braves bat behind him in his background. Well, let's take a break. It's all in fun. We're enjoying this. We hope you are as well. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are underway. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In conjunction with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where price spells cars and trucks on Cobbsford Road in Prattville.
Welcome to the holidays. They're officially here. Time for tradition, family gatherings, meals, and the annual scramble of searching for those last-minute gifts. Speaking of gifts, this season Budweiser's got your back. Head to the store right now and look for our Thanksgiving week specials. Why go all over town looking for that perfect gift when Budweiser takes care of everyone in one convenient ice-cold package? When you stock up on Budweiser with our Thanksgiving week specials, you'll have plenty to share with your friends and family. They'll all appreciate that Budweiser's brewed the hard way and has been for 140 years. We use the finest barley, malt, and hops grown in Idaho and Germany. We don't take any shortcuts when we're brewing. That's our tradition. So make the most of your holidays. Stop by your local store now for our Thanksgiving week specials. Grab enough Budweiser for yourself, your friends, and your family. It's a new holiday tradition everyone can enjoy together. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast Thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too. You certainly can be a winner at Victoryland because they have got some incredible giveaways the month of December. It is the $125,000 December free play cash giveaway at Victoryland, and it all starts this Friday. That's right, this Friday, December the 6th, $13,000, part of the December free play cash giveaway. They're going to give away $13,000 on Saturday as well. They'll do it again the following weekend, starting out Friday the 13th at $13,500 and then ramping it up to $19,500 on Saturday. They'll do it again the weekend right before Christmas, December 20th and 21st. Two lucky folks are going to win $19,500, and then they'll wrap it up the last weekend in December with $13,500 on December 27th and 28th. It's Victoryland's $125,000. I'm choking up just reading it, Barry. Woo, it's so exciting. Yep. $125,000 free play and cash giveaway from Victoryland, where you can be a winner too.
All right, here's the gist of it. If, and again, if Alabama makes it, hey, I'm okay with it. This is not, me planting a flag anywhere or anything. If they make it, that's I thought after the loss to Oklahoma, there's no chance. They beat Auburn, which, anybody surprised about that? They have 9 wins. They've got a better resume than, say, Ole Miss. So they've got a chance. If they don't, I'm just saying, if they don't,
yep.
Here are the tie-ins. John, raise your hand if any of these non-playoff bowls excite you at all.
Okay.
All right. Either the Big Ten or ACC in the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Where is that? I have no clue.
Well,
ReliaQuest.
Okay.
What is ReliaQuest?
That's two unanswerable questions.
Is it a cough syrup? ReliaQuest.
An ACC matchup in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
See, I can go ahead and stop you right there.
ACC in the Dukes Mayo Bowl, Big Ten in the TransPerfect Music City Bowl, Big 12 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Big 12 in the TaxAct Texas Bowl. You're not raising your hand. The Las Vegas Bowl against the Pac-12. We were asking about that. The Vegas Bowl against the Pac-12 in even-numbered years. I kid you not. Is there even a Pac-12?
Now, that might be interesting, but not much. Look, I should have trademarked the phrase worthless and meaningless.
Yeah.
When I said that 25 years ago and people thought, no, you can't, bowls are great. It's a reward. It's great for the cities. They love it, blah, blah, blah. The kids can't get enough of it. Yeah, right.
Yep. If John and I were ever going to own our own radio station, which John never will, it would be called WMBG. Longshore and McKnight on WNBG. What does that stand for? Worthless, meaningless bowl games.
So none of those games, and I'm going to get to that later today. I think it's on the topic wheel. No, not interested. So yeah, Bama fan, if you don't make the playoff and you got to go to the relinquished bowl or like whatever it was, nobody cares. So what? Tickets, get all you want. Yeah, no big deal. So no, there's nothing to it. So what? Hey, guess what? Remember in 2024 when we won the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl? No, I don't. Who'd they play? So I can answer that real quick. But what I will pose, and I looked diligently yesterday. Maybe it's too soon. I asked some people to help me with it as well. And, Bill, I want them all. I do want the 9-game SEC schedule, and I want a 16-team playoff. I want them
the man's
both,
greedy.
right?
The man's, who says you got to stop at one?
Yeah, don't
Why not both?
Yeah, I want them. Heck yeah. I mean, give it all to me. So I'm looking at the 12 teams that are currently ranked in the AP and coaches poll as of this morning.
Right.
Alabama is ranked 11th in both polls. And I'm looking at the teams ahead of them and a few behind them that might make the playoff. I'm looking at 80% of these teams, maybe 75, that I believe in my long, extensive career of following point spreads that Vegas would make Alabama a favorite against 75% of the teams that are being talked about making the college football playoff. Now, there again, is that branding? Is it tradition? Is it eyeballs? Is it television ratings? Who knows? Nick Saban made that point a couple of years ago when they got left out. And they would have been a favorite against just about everybody in the playoff. You can have all these metrics you want, but I've never been opposed to letting Vegas decide who should make the playoff.
I have never understood that. John will bring that up, and I get it, but I have never thought that meant a warm pitcher of spit to anybody. Oh, well, Vegas well, forget Vegas. They're not talking about which team is the better, although Alabama's very, very good. Come on, guys. That's a horrible way to I guess, rationalize to yourself when you don't make. Alabama was a favorite against Vanderbilt. Alabama was a favorite against Oklahoma.
To me,
what did that mean?
It's kind of in the same area of, well, my eyes tell me, because we've heard the committee say, well, the eye test, we use that. What is this, a beauty pageant? To me, the eye test is not a very firm, final, scientific way to determine who should be getting in. And maybe people would say that about point spreads and who would be a favorite in a game, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Well, again, to remind everybody what John's talking about, the polls, the two polls. By the way, the last college football playoff ranking had Alabama at number 13. The two polls have Alabama at 11 right now. Bear in mind, there are teams that are ranked behind them in the college football playoff rankings that have a chance to leapfrog. Arizona State right now was number 16 in the last poll. They absolutely cooked Arizona. And now they play for the Big 12 championship against Iowa State. Arizona State is 10-2. If they win that game, they leapfrog Alabama.
Alabama would be a 2-touchdown favorite against Arizona State.
Good. That doesn't mean anything.
So are they the better team? Is that are you trying to get the 12 best teams?
Well, they would be a conference champion. They would be the Big 12 champion, and by definition, they would get in. Now, the ones that I would look out for, I'd look out for Clemson. Bad loss the other day, had a 21-point lead. They're 9-3, just like Alabama, but they don't have the number of wins. Do they let Clemson in? Do they make the ACC a 2-bid league, a 3-bid league, or just 2? I'd watch out for that. I'd watch out for Indiana, who is 11-1. I think they're in. I said the other day, I think they're a lock to get in. So there's some teams out there that Alabama's not going to, at-large teams, that Alabama is not going to leapfrog, I think. There are a couple, the ways that they can do it. Again, watch out for Clemson. Hope Arizona State loses and doesn't, take their spot. And I think I don't know if I agree with Tess the other night that he said 145 times. If Georgia's if Georgia is 10-3 with a loss to Alabama, they do get in over Alabama, right?
I guess they went to the SEC championship game. That seems to hold a lot of weight. Just making your conference championship game. I don't know if it holds as much weight in some other conferences as it might in the SEC and the Big Ten. But see, Bear, it's scenarios like this that I think the Big Ten and the SEC is going to go, this isn't what it's all about. Because we're letting teams in and we're letting teams get buys and in the top 4 that would be getting hammered by some of these teams that are lower than they are or not even in the playoff. So here's one of the other scenarios I've heard recently.
All right.
Play-in games. The SEC and the Big Ten are going to have play-in games. And these will be the same week as the conference championship game. So like this year, you got Texas and Georgia playing in Atlanta for the SEC championship. And if you looked at the 4 remaining teams as they are ranked and in the position in which they are in today, Ole Miss would play at Tennessee and South Carolina would play at Alabama, with the 2 winners of those games getting into the playoff and the possibility of one of those teams getting an at-large bid in the Big Ten and in the SEC. That I have read and heard some very prominent college football analysts discussing about the future when this playoff does increase, which every indication is it will for the 2026 season.
So there would be an expanded playoff and an expanded SEC postseason. Do you think Greg Sankey is going to take away focus on this Saturday from the Keystone game, the big game? Do you think he's going to take away focus from that?
Yes.
John,
One
I don't
word.
know if I've out of a generation of disagreeing with you, I don't know that I've ever disagreed with you more on any. He ain't gonna do that.
One
Hey,
word.
look, television partners, how about this big game that you're
Money.
spending a lot of money on? We're gonna kind of water it down a little bit and cannibalize some of your viewers.
What's being watered down? You are playing for the SEC championship. Isn't that worth something? Oh, you're the SEC champion. That's what we've been led to believe over the last several years. Oh, it's a big deal. You got to. So it's the SEC championship game. So you play one of them at 11. You play another one at 2:30, and then you play the SEC championship game that night. It doesn't dilute anything.
No,
It doesn't
sure.
water it down.
Yeah,
but it gives you the guarantee of having more teams in your conference in the playoff. And that's what the Big Ten and the SEC want. They don't give a rat's rear end about the Big 12 or the Pac-12 or the ACC. And I'm loving hearing this because this was the same thing when we went to the 14 playoff.
No.
We went to the 12 team. I heard Barry go, this is so bad.
Anytime I disagree with John, he's like, hey, I was right about the playoff. The idea that you're going to have a mini playoff before you get to an expanded playoff.
We do it in basketball.
Pretty soon. Yeah. And how much does the SEC basketball tournament, how much of that is watered down? John ain't watching the quarterfinals. He ain't watching the semis. Give me a break.
Well, somebody is. I mean, I don't have to, but somebody's doing it. I'm hearing this. And I'm thinking, okay, because I see there again, this is the evolution of the big boy conference, the SEC and the Big Ten saying, well, we don't need y'all. We don't want to be dealing with y'all anymore. Go do your own little thing. Just keep that in the back of your filing cabinet.
I wish John had grown up as the son of a theater professor at Slippery Rock and gone to all their games. I think it would have been healthier for him. We'll take a break. When we come back, Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Happy holidays from Marguerite's. And every year we do an unbelievable $99 Christmas special. And it's got to be 14 karat white or yellow gold, and it's got to be high quality Marguerite's diamonds. Well, this year it's the best one ever. It's individual 14 karat letters that we've cut out and added a 7-point diamond to on a 14 karat necklace. Impossible. That's right. All the initial diamond necklaces, $99 at Marguerite's till Christmas.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
You know all about the 12 Days of Christmas, but what about the 12 Days of Dixie? We're giving away 12 of this year's hottest holiday gifts. Just go to facebook.com/Dixie Electric Plumbing Air and comment on the daily prize post using the hashtag 12 Days of Dixie, and you're automatically entered to win. The winner's name is posted on Facebook the following day with the opportunity to enter daily. The 12 Days of Dixie is going on right now.
minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Hey, Gurn, make sure you pin and mark Kirk's chat. Says it will never happen. I love it when people say that'll never happen. Okay, Kirk, just remember it might. Hey,
He's
Barry,
been right about a couple of things, and boy, he will ride those until the dawn.
Barry, can you see over my right shoulder here?
Yeah.
I think you, my wife heard what you said. She said, I don't have time for a tree, but I'll bring Santa throwing a football.
Santa.
So that's all I got right now. I've got Santa throwing a long one up into the third row, I think. Hey, our man Bryan Matthews, AuburnSports.com, joining us on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. Bryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing really well. I know this is probably kind of a quiet week for you without a whole lot going on.
Yeah,
so we appreciate you at least spending a little bit of time between naps of visiting with us here. First of all, let's talk about the Iron Bowl. Auburn had a chance, at halftime. It was 14-6, and you're thinking, okay. And then they scored those 2 third-quarter touchdowns early, and that was it. Was that basically the tone, or were there other subtexts there?
Well, I think Auburn kind of blew their chance in the first half, right? With the 3 turnovers. I think it was 3 trips to the 25 and inside, and only coming away with 6 points. I thought obviously Peyton missed that wide open Keandre Leonard-Smith there for a touchdown. That drive in a field goal. And then Auburn got down there to first down on the 2 and couldn't punch it in. I thought that third down play where they rushed it was completely unnecessary and really cost them on that drive too. So, opportunity missed, I feel like. Not saying that Auburn would have won had they converted in those situations, but it certainly would have been a much more entertaining game in the second half. And I thought Alabama just took control in the second half. It's clear they made a decision to run the ball and to run the ball with Milroe, and it worked. He's a really talented runner with the ball. So, and I thought Auburn got worn down a little bit too. That's the most rushing yards they've given up all season, I believe, and the most yards they've given up all season defensively. So it looked to me like they were a little banged up, a little run down there, and Alabama took advantage.
Yeah, Bryan, I said it yesterday, and I haven't gone back to look at the game probably because of what I said yesterday. It was the least exciting Iron Bowl I've watched in many years. Maybe because there was no heroics or just crazy stuff going on at the end of the game or whatever it might be. But, Alabama tried to run it between the tackles all day. Nothing going on there. I don't know why they still think that's going to work. I mean, Milroe certainly churned up some yardage on his own, but I just didn't find it very exciting. And you mentioned the red zone. Auburn could get to the red zone, and then it kind of hit a brick wall. And I don't know. What were your thoughts about the excitement level of the game on Saturday?
Pretty low. I agree. And to be honest with you, Auburn hasn't played a lot of exciting games here lately. It's just the way it's worked out, or maybe that's the way this program is at the moment. They've been in some close games at home, but they tend to blow those games, which it may be exciting for the other teams, but it's not very exciting for Auburn. But I agree. I would have liked to see Auburn put up more of a fight and make a game with that. I thought the opportunity was there. Alabama's defense came into that game 12th in the SEC in rushing defense. I thought there was an opportunity for Auburn to run the ball or to find different ways to run the ball. They didn't. They once again tried to rely on Peyton Thorne to win the game for him, and he could not get the job done.
Well, the one time they didn't rely on Peyton Thorne, I'd love to. Probably won't happen to see a reiteration of your facial expression when they ran the old Jarquez Hunter toss, sweep, throw to the throw to the end zone.
Oh,
and I mean, that guy could have called a fair catch on that one. That was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, trick plays can be great sometimes. When they fail, they usually fail spectacularly. And most of Auburn's trick plays this season have failed spectacularly. So they maybe need to go back to the drawing board on that and maybe put a little time and effort into executing those plays a little bit better, because they've been a disaster for most of the season.
So let's go back to the drawing board then. Now that the season is over, this is a busy week. The transfer portal has already, I don't know if they've had any entries yet. I don't think you can, but I have a lot of people declaring for them.
Yep.
A couple already from Auburn, none of whom I think has been a big impact guy, right?
Right. I think probably you're looking at probably a dozen guys from Auburn, maybe a little bit more. there'll probably be one or two guys in there that Auburn would like to retain. That's just the way it's going to be, I think, from going forward. But I think most are going to be guys that have been in the program 2 or 3 years and just aren't seeing the playing time they want to see. And I think that's normal now. And I think that's going to be part of college football going forward, as long as this transfer portal is still a part of college football. But I look back on the season, 4 losses to 6-6 teams at home. That's pretty bad, and that's something that this Auburn program should not have experienced this season. To me, this was at least a 7-5 team, maybe 8-4, and I think they underperformed.
Yeah, well, I would say they did as well. I mean, the record will tell you that. But Hugh Freeze going into year 3. Certainly, there's got to be some improvement. You would think. I think the fans want it, the players want it, the administration wants it. What would be? Obviously, the recruiting is the first start. That's the foundation. We know that. Will they have enough from the young players on this year's team, and then who's coming in to be a SEC championship game participant? Will they be at that level next year, possibly?
I got to see it to believe it. I think the talent level is certainly increasing. I think they have to make some big moves in the transfer portal to have that opportunity. I mean, they've got to go out there and get a difference maker at quarterback, probably 2 quarterbacks, probably a younger guy and a guy that can come in and play right away. They've got to probably help out both tackle positions, which to me don't appear to be SEC level at the moment. And they probably got to find help at some other key positions that can be really expensive on the D line, like a pass rusher and maybe another D tackle and our nose guard. So they've got some real needs. I love how they're recruiting. I think they've got some great D linemen coming in. They got some guys that redshirted or played some this year. D linemen, they're going to be really good in the future. Deuce Knight, I think, as long as he sticks with Auburn, I think he will, but we'll see. Can be a really good future quarterback, but I don't know if you want to, put your entire program, at risk on a freshman quarterback. Maybe they'll end up having to do that. We'll see. But that's a big risk, and they already had a big risk at quarterback and failed at it this past year. So, I think it's great the way he's recruiting. It looks like another a top 5 class, the best or second best recruiting class of the Rivals era. He will sign on Wednesday, but they didn't do a good job coaching this year, so they've got to improve in other areas too, besides just getting the talent level better.
Well, let's focus on this. AuburnSports.com. Caleb Jones had a piece yesterday where Auburn stands 2 days from early signing day, now 1 day from signing day.
Yep.
Are there battles right now, or are there significant battles you can detail?
Yeah, on the current guys committed, I mentioned Deuce Knight. I think Auburn's in fairly good shape to hold on him. Alabama's making a run at Donovan Starr, the cornerback from Tennessee. I think that's one to keep an eye on. I believe he was at the Iron Bowl, so that's one that may not go Auburn's way. We'll see. Right now, he's still committed to Auburn. Jared Smith is a guy that several teams, including Ole Miss, have made a run after. South Carolina definitely going after him, but I think he's going to end up sticking with Auburn there. On the other side, Darian Smith is a big defensive lineman that's committed to Tennessee. He's from St. Francis in Baltimore. Auburn's got 3 or 4 commitments from that school right now in both classes, 25 and 26. So that's a kid I think Auburn has a legit chance to flip. Certainly, everybody will be watching Naheem Offord, the talented cornerback from Parker and Birmingham. I think Auburn is definitely in a position to flip him if he does indeed flip, along with Oregon. He's committed to Ohio State right now. And then there's one other guy that Usman Kromah, the running back, committed to Georgia. I think that's kind of a flipping a running back from Georgia at this point in time may be tough, but Auburn has done a really good job continuing to stay in touch with him. So we'll see how that goes on signing day.
Bryan, we're never shy about looking towards the future here on this program. And if my information is correct, basically Auburn's schedule next year will be conference-wise, will be identical to this year. They'll just flip-flop the home and away. I believe they play at Baylor maybe to open the season next year, right. Non-conference. But they'll have Arkansas on the road, Oklahoma on the road. They'll host Georgia. They will host Missouri. They'll host Kentucky. They're at Vanderbilt. They will be at Texas A&M, and they'll host Alabama. So certainly, not an easy pass. Some very difficult conference games they'll have to play, and of course, hitting the road as well next year. They see what's in front of them.
Yeah, and that's a schedule. You look at it. That's a lot of long road trips, which, but it's also Georgia and Alabama at home, and that's really the only chance that Auburn's had of beating those teams in the last 15 or so years, mostly. So that is an opportunity, but Auburn's going to have to get a lot better, and certainly the talent level is getting better. And there's some significant needs that need to be filled in the portal. But if they can do all that and they can do a better job of making this team a little bit mentally and physically tougher in the offseason, sure, they got a chance to make a run. But that's a lot of ifs that got to be answered,
Yeah. How much takeout pizza are you guys going to have tomorrow following all this and still covering a huge basketball game at Cameron Indoor Stadium? I mean, it's going to be like an all-nighter, it feels like, at auburnsports.com.
It is a battle of the blue bloods, right?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah.
But I think it's great. This is actually the second time ever that Auburn's played at Cameron Indoor. Last time was 1981, Charles Barkley's freshman season. Bruce Pearl has never coached at Cameron Indoor. So legendary building, one of those places that I think every college basketball player would love to play. If you're not a Duke player, of course. But just listen to Coach Pearl. We talked to him yesterday. I think he feels like Duke is one of the most talented teams in the country, one of the deepest teams in the country. They've got 2 losses, but both were away from home. Both were against highly ranked clubs. So this is going to be I would call it a war, and this is going to be a tough game for Auburn to win. It'll be another great test for them. This has been a terrific non-conference schedule so far for Auburn. I think they have 4 was it Q1 wins? Is that what it's called?
Yes, quad 1.
Yeah, quad 1. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And this would be a 5th, of course, if they're to pull it out, but it's still a big game either way, and looking forward to covering it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one. And I tell you, I said it last week, and probably the week prior to that, Brian. To me, Auburn's playing the best basketball of anybody. I mean, I just love their team chemistry, the guys coming off the bench. They're playing really good defense as well. They're a tough out, and I get it. It's early. It's a long way before March, but right now this team seems to be playing as complete as anybody I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say this is the best Auburn team I've seen in November, December, right? And that's not a shot at them. They're really, really good. But you also, if you're Auburn, you have to know that every team they're playing right now is going to be better, especially a team like Duke with so many good young players, is going to be better come March. So Auburn's got to find a way to push themselves and get better too. But they're playing outstanding basketball. They've got that inside-out play right now with Broome and Chaney and Dylan Cardwell stepping up. And they got some more legit three-point shooters, I think, in the lineup now too, which helps out a lot.
One more question about that, and we'll let you go. You talk about those guys, Baker Mazzara, and of course Janai and Denver Jones and all that. Who's an under the radar guy that you like that's been effective or has been quietly productive that is either going to be a key or that's not getting enough love right now?
Well, I think everybody started out not liking the lineup with Dylan Cardwell starting at 5 and Janai at 4. And then it's turned out actually to be a really productive lineup because Dylan's playing much better, passing the ball better, rebounding better, finishing offensively better. So I think he has taken little steps forward his entire career and has made himself into a quality SEC big man and a real difference maker for Auburn inside, along with Broome. And then Tahad Pettiford is a lot better than I thought he would be as a freshman. He just does not turn the ball over like you would expect most freshmen to do, with as many minutes as he gets on the ball. And he's also one of those fearless shooters that you love to see that Bruce Pearl, when he has guys like that, he gives them the green light to shoot and they become really good players. So I'm excited what he can become this year and in future years.
Before we let you go, just curious, your musical journey yesterday?
Yeah, 55 years ago, And I'll try to think about what the lead was, see if y'all can guess. But a British band, a British rock band, made a stopover in Alabama to record 2 legendary songs before a few days later going out to California and performing in what turned out to be a really what's the word I want to use? Just a poor concert, or just a concert that turned out to be infamous.
So
So to
maybe they
speak.
went to Woodstock and they stopped in Muscle Shoals first.
The
Could that have?
concert was in California later in the year, 4 months after Woodstock. So
Yeah.
this would be
Okay. Well, I know that Mick Jagger's been to Muscle Shoals
yep,
before. Was it the Rolling
that's right.
Stones?
It was the Stones.
Oh,
They recorded Brown Sugar and Wild Horses at
Oh,
the
wow.
Muscle Shoals studio there. 2 of their best songs, and then I think it was 4 days later they went out to California for the Altamont free concert,
yeah. And they had
which
the big
was
riot, right?
right. The Hell's Angels were in charge of security there, which was probably
Bad
not the best
idea.
job.
Bad
Yeah,
idea.
there were
Yeah.
4 deaths during the concert. The
Oh,
Grateful Dead were like, "We're not going to do this." They pieced out. So it was
That's
just an
infamous.
interesting little thing to sort of compare
I
there.
would
But
say
yeah,
so.
Well, all brought to you by Keith's Red Sauce as
that's
well.
right.
Love the
Delicious.
PMAT's Monday musings. Quick thought about how people can access. It's not too late for them to get all of the coverage you've got on signing day and all of that, right?
It's not, and there will be a ton of coverage this week. Signing days tomorrow. Ton of guys on Flip Watch both ways for Auburn. You got the big basketball game tonight. You've got tons of football portal news with guys getting in the portal, and there's some guys that have gotten the portal from other schools that Auburn is already, taking a look at, so to speak.
Okay.
So that's something to watch too. We'll have all that more at auburnsports.com. You can follow me on socials at BMATAU. And of course, Uncle Keith's Red Sauce does sponsor Monday Musings, available Piggly Wiggly, Publix, Renfro's statewide. BMAT 15 gets you 15% off your online order.
How about that?
outstanding.
All right, Brian, keep the caffeine going. You got a lot
Yep.
to do. We're dependent on you. Appreciate it. Bryan Matthews,
Yep.
auburnsports.com.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
buddy.
very much. Yep.
Yep. Always enjoy and appreciate Brian's time here on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. Great stuff as always. Tomorrow's going to be big. We're going to get into that a little bit later as well about on signing day eve. I guess it's maybe time for maybe a quick commercial break. We'll get things set up for Travis Ryer. And I mean, am I off my rocker? I mean, a play-in series? Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what really convinced me about that, Barry, when we get back.
It's more
Hey,
foot.
this is Barry.
Oh,
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speed associated with our installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Both locations offer fully stocked pro shops with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com.
About 5 minutes before the top of the hour, Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, will join us here in a couple of minutes. Barry, Vegas has spoken. I was asking about this, and our great audience out there, our viewers and our listeners, let us know that that the sportsbook in Vegas have moved Alabama from a plus 100 to minus 186 to make the college football playoff. What that means, if you'd have put up $100, you'd have won 100 if they made it. Now you got to put up 186 to win 100. So Alabama is a favorite to make it. So says the people in Vegas. We'll have to wait and see because, as Luke and Bill told us yesterday, I think the biggest hurdle is SMU and Clemson.
Yes, that was huge for Alabama's chances for Clemson to lose the game against Syracuse. I think SMU is in either way. So if Clemson wins the ACC championship, that's a hit for the Crimson Tide. I don't know if it's a fatal hit, but it is a hit.
I don't really see any other path, Barry. If SMU loses, I just don't see, and I don't break it down like the Heather Dinniches of the world do, but to me, that seems like the easiest route. Now, let's say if they get in that room and it's all about branding and eye test and all that type stuff, I can't help you there.
So, today, I guess, if you don't have anything else to do, watch the college football playoff release. Doesn't mean a thing because the conference championship games are this weekend, and that's going to be the whole gist of it. I don't know how it all works out. I do know that there is a large group of people who really want Alabama to be in who are not Alabama fans. They're called television executives. They wear crisp, starched shirts and power ties and sit there, and they don't care about Shorty Price and the guys with the meat pole and all that. They don't care about Rammer Jammer and singing Dixieland Delight in the third quarter. You know what they care about? They're looking at numbers on a piece of paper. Yeah. And they're called ratings. And they see so, I knew that this was probably going to be a thing. And this may be, quite frankly, Alabama's biggest positive. Sure, winning against Georgia was a big deal. Getting the win against LSU was an okay deal. But it's their history, their ability to draw eyeballs. And not all the eyeballs are favorable eyeballs. Not all those eyeballs are just those starstruck Alabama fans who have never been to a game but don't miss the Crimson Tide. It's people around the country saying, what do we got? Boise State, Penn State, Alabama's playing. Let's see what they got, the random fan.
Around the country like to see Notre Dame lose. Now, I know Notre Dame's got the largest fan base across the country, but there's a lot of people out there that don't like Notre Dame and like to see them lose. Same with the Cowboys. A lot of people love the Cowboys. A lot of people don't. Love to see them lose. Same with the Yankees. Okay, so here's when the play-in scenario really hit me. And I read about, I think, obviously it was on maybe Tighter Insider or so. Hey, so-and-so saying this. Looked it up. It was on the Athletic or somewhere. I'm reading about it. And then I go to my man Joel Klatt and listening to his podcast, which I enjoy. Klatt, of course, color analyst for Big Noon Saturday on Fox.
I love him. I do like
Klatt a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Klatt broke it down yesterday about the Big 12, about the Big 10, and the SEC play-in game scenario. And I'm sitting there looking at it and I'm jotting it down. I'm thinking, okay, I see you working here. Okay, I'm warming up to this idea. Laid it all out from a scheduling standpoint on the calendar, this, that, and the other. Conferences don't want to get rid of the conference championship games. Why? Money.
Yeah.
Don't want to lose it. But the Big Ten and the SEC, this playoff deal is all about how many of our teams can we get in it. You know, I got great Boise and SMU, that's good. Like Arizona State, whatever. But it's all about how many teams can we get in it.
Uh-huh.
If they have a play-in scenario amongst their conference teams and the winners move up, they kind of like that idea. And there again, so do the television networks. More revenue. And I get it. Wait a minute. Aren't we having a conference champ? Oh, yeah, that's the main event. You know, in a fight, they have a couple of warm-up fights, and then they have the main event.
Yeah.
That's how they would position
it. Anything that takes away from the focus on, boy, I can't wait for the SEC championship game. What he misses is what has happened this year and how it's designed to be. This is the only reason why I'm not just projectile vomiting over the 12-team playoff right now, is because these games at the end of the year matter. Alabama, Oklahoma, that had the feel of a playoff game. Clemson and Syracuse, those are games that mean a lot. Now, if you've got, say, I don't know, Ole Miss and South Carolina, they're wringing their hands and gnashing their teeth and biting their fingernails saying, oh boy, I hope we're in. I hope we're in. Here's the thing. Don't lose to Florida, Ole Miss. That's the game you need to be focused on instead of, well, I know we lost to Florida, but look, I have a community chest card right here. It says get out of jail free. Get one more chance. Hey, our fans were living and dying in our win over Georgia. Didn't mean anything. All it meant was that we get a chance to play another game, and then we'll see if we're in the playoff.
So
that makes no sense to me.
Maybe a 3-loss Alabama team getting into the college football playoff, losing in the regular season to 2 500 teams and going on, getting on a run and winning the national championship. Yeah, that would probably not set real well with the college football world, but that's what we're getting to. And I didn't see a lot of empty seats in the regular season. Fans are still gravitating to the games. They're still watching the games on television amongst the big teams, the marquee teams, and that's what these networks want. When we get to the postseason, give us all we can get with the marquee teams. There again, Boise, we love you, but you're not doing it for us. You're not generating the revenue that we've got to have on this $1 billion deal we've set up with college football.
They're making money hand over fist. So you're telling me that the networks would be okay, or not the networks, the college football playoff committee would be okay with, yeah, we'll guarantee you games. We're going to guarantee you not only your conference champion, but we're going to guarantee you a little added revenue for your conference to have a play-in game to guarantee another. You will have a guarantee of that. No.
Yeah, see, I like it because now there's none of this, committee and eye test business. You just take those 4 other high-ranked teams and let them play it out as well for the other positions in the 12, which will be a 14-team playoff, probably 16 if I had it my way. But I don't, there again, I would not be opposed to it. And I know it's a radical move, but so was the 12-team playoff. So was the 4-team playoff. So I could certainly see it evolving into something similar to that. I don't know. We'll see, but just something to chew on.
Yep.
That seems to be out there. And we'll ask Travis about it, get his thoughts about it. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, all that good stuff, joins us here on this Tuesday. Hey, Travis, good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's good. Thank you for wearing my favorite hat as well. That always adds a little extra gravitas to the scene here. All right, recap it. Alabama 28-14, relatively close at halftime, 2 early touchdowns in the third quarter. What was the ebb and flow? What was the important parts of that one for the Tide, Travis?
Yeah, I just think that being able to overcome the turnovers in a manner in which Alabama did and the extra possessions that were provided to an Auburn offense that conversely not efficient, certainly in the red zone, give the Alabama defense credit for that. But to me, that's kind of the story of the game. Auburn had its opportunities, didn't really cash in. I think Alabama was 4 for 4 on red zones with 4 touchdowns. You can kind of just look at that stat if you'd like. I thought Jalen Milroe up and down a little bit, turned the ball over. One of those was a strip sack in which he never had a chance. I mean, Caden Proctor just gave up a blow by. The interception there in the second quarter, not good because you had an opportunity, even in a 3rd and long, to pick up 7 or 8 yards and then maybe kick the field goal with Graham Nicholson. So it was one of those turnovers where you sort of pin the opponent, but there was still a wasted scoring opportunity there for Alabama as well. And then, the fumble there in the second half wasn't pretty, but I thought throwing the football, he did a lot of good things. And you look at his numbers and you think about what they might have been had Ryan Williams held on to the post, because that was an empty possession too. They missed the touchdown there. Then he throws the pick a few plays later. And CJ Dupree had a chance on a ball there in the middle of the field at the goal line. So I thought it was more good than bad from Jalen. The turnovers, though, in the last 6 quarters or so have been somewhat problematic. And defensively, Alabama was good enough. Thankfully, Hugh pretty much went this entire season without utilizing Jarquez Hunter as much as I'm sure some Auburn fans would like. But, they did a good enough job on the defensive side of the ball. Auburn helped them out some too, though.
Travis, I know we've talked about this throughout the season, but to me, Saturday, it was more frustrating watching Alabama try to run the ball between the tackles. That just seemed to be a problem all season long, and they continued it on Saturday as well with not a lot of success.
Yeah, they actually did some nice things early in both halves, I thought, with the backs, but certainly not anything in the way of explosiveness other than Jalen with the ball in his hand. And they're not going to be Alabama 2015 with, Derrick Henry getting 395 carries. It's a quarterback-centric offense. I think these are good backs. I think Justice Haynes, Jam Miller. I want 70 Jam Millers on my team, just in terms of toughness and makeup. Give me all the Jam Millers. Is he Derrick Henry when it comes to the running back position? Is he Mark Ingram? Is he Josh Jacobs? Najee Harris, the type of backs that Alabama fans have grown accustomed to. I don't think either of those guys are those guys yet anyway. I think they're good backs. And so it doesn't feel like, you can expect more than what's outside of what's there. That's what's most frustrating at times, is that initially it'll look like there's 5, 6, 7 yards there, and it'll end up going for a 3-yard pickup. So the consistency in the run game with the backs, you're right. It really hasn't been there.
Travis, extending your logical approach to football just a little bit, because there are still games to be played this weekend. Does Alabama get in the college football playoff?
Wow. We're going to learn a lot tonight. I think we'll know tonight how that sort of sets up for Alabama. If they're ahead of South Carolina and Miami, I think that's a really good sign. But then for me, what do you do with the ACC if Clemson wins that game Saturday night, which I think Clemson's beating SMU? I look at SMU's schedule. There's nothing there that tells me, that a year ago G4 or G5 is going to match up well with a Clemson team that, if nothing else, Clemson's front seven can keep Clemson in that game. And I think Klubnik's playing at a high enough level and with confidence right now that offensively they can do enough. I think that's what it comes down to. For me, the ACC is a one-bid league. Whether Alabama gets in or South Carolina gets in, whatever. I look at the ACC as a one-bid league right now, regardless of what happens Saturday night. But that's going to be the question. If Clemson wins that game, what do you do with SMU? Are you still going to put them in there without a win over a ranked CFP team for the entire season as a 2-loss? that's going to be that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, and we've talked about this so much, Travis. The eye test, branding, things of that nature, and you see some of these teams that are really in good position to get in, but I'm not sure that's really who the television networks want in. Maybe the College Football Playoff Committee doesn't want them in either. I mean, I touched on it earlier today. I think there's 5 or 6 teams that are in really good position, maybe more than that, to get into the college football playoff, and Alabama would be a touchdown or more favored against. But there again, they don't factor that in. And I don't know if it's going to take maybe a couple of years in the playoff where they see that, well, maybe we need to retweak this a little bit because we might not have the best teams in the playoff like we intended to get.
Yeah, and the committee's answer to that can be Alabama was a 2-score favorite over 2 6-loss teams this season and lost straight up. So there's ownership that also has to be taken in account when you talk about Alabama specifically. Losing to one of those teams can be a deadly sin. Losing to 2 of them, to me, in that scenario, you kind of lose your true right to complain if you don't get in. But again, I'm not even speaking specifically to Alabama's chances. Just look, the ACC is a 1-bid league, and the Big Ten is just sitting over there nice and quiet. They want all the discussion to be about the SEC and whether or not it gets 3 or 4. And the Big Ten knows they probably don't have 4 playoff caliber teams, but right now they're sitting nice and pretty. So they're nice and quiet over there in the corner, hoping no one will notice that they got a couple of frauds.
With the Indianas and the Penn States and the
Ohio
Oregons
State
and the
at this
Ohio
point.
States.
I mean, who was Penn State played this
why
year?
isn't there discussion about Ohio State getting left out at this point?
Yeah.
Season's on the line against a 5-loss team at home.
Yeah, with a roster of about $20 million roster.
Yeah.
If regardless of what happens the rest of the year, and without even thinking about high school recruiting, in the transfer portal, if you were the Andrew Luck, the GM of Alabama football, what positions would you be looking for necessarily?
Wow. I think offensive tackle would be certainly an area I would consider. I need at least one of those. If I'm on the football version of Amazon, I can just punch it in and have it delivered to my doorstep there in Tuscaloosa. That would be one position. I think how it's going to play out is that even at some skill positions, you're going to see some additions there because I think there's going to be some departures between running back and wide receiver. I think defensively, you still wonder about the personnel fits to what they've gone to on that side of the ball. So, you can never have enough good corners, as we know. I think they're good enough at corner, though, especially with some of the young guys they have. It's really hard to say until you get a feel for who you're losing to,
Right.
But those would be a couple of the areas, maybe inside linebacker, if there's a real dude out there that you can kind of bring in, like Chris Paul Jr. with Ole Miss coming in from Arkansas this offseason. So, yeah, those would probably be the primary areas. You should be good at quarterback, and then you think about defensively, you still need some playmakers in that front 7.
What about signing day tomorrow? Are you expecting any surprises?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not? I mean, this era of college football recruiting, it's every day almost a flip or I don't have any intel about that in relation, but I just go into every day kind of expecting that right now, guys. So that's also part of that whole thing with the portal, knowing that you still have a top 3 class nationally, it looks like, set to come on board. That's a real positive for Kalen DeBoer. And so, I think organization wide, it's going to be a interesting offseason for Kalen. And does he stand pat in a lot of areas? Do we see a couple of changes, not just in terms of personnel, but, staff and
Yeah, I think we lost some audio there.
I think so too.
Of Travis there. Travis,
think
we lost your audio there. I think. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, somebody was, people want to call while I'm trying to do this thing.
Oh, come on. Yep, geez.
I know,
And I'm
right?
with you there. You know, the
well,
the possible staff changes, transfers, signing day tomorrow, opt-outs if they don't make the playoff and go to a bowl game. You got to deal with that. I mean, I'm with you. I said it last week. Number one, got to win the Iron Bowl, but then there's a lot of other hurdles you got to jump over in the next 2 weeks that could really shape the future of this program.
It could, and you might get a jump start on all that here in the next few days. I mean, you're already seeing players for college football playoff teams hitting the portal, and that's just where we're at now. They may not be, top line, front line guys, but they're guys that have played for some of these teams. What the corner from Georgia I saw is in the portal, and then also maybe Ohio State with a front seven guy. So it's unprecedented in a lot of ways, and that's kind of where, going back to SMU Clemson Saturday night, that's the kind of game I'd love SMU in a bowl game in, because I would be anticipating maybe some opt-outs for Clemson, but there ain't no opt-outs.
There ain't no rematch.
Ain't no opt-outs in the conference championship.
A couple more questions here, Travis Ryer. Even after dropping an absolute battle to Oregon on Saturday, your thoughts on setting up Alabama at North Carolina at the Dean Dome on Wednesday? How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, Alabama basketball is made for TV, man. I mean, that's one thing about Nate with the way he schedules, and just really you got to credit the league too, though. I mean, it's the elevation of the entire league that helps put programs like Alabama and Auburn in these situations with Duke and North Carolina. 10 years ago, ESPN wouldn't have cared about putting those teams in those games, or the SEC in these type of games. They wanted Big Ten ACC more than they wanted SEC ACC, but that's where the league's at. That's certainly a credit to what Nate's done at Alabama. They dropped a couple of games to top opponents. Purdue and Oregon was a little bit more of a shocker than even Purdue, although you get into these events and play in these places. You've been in Vegas for damn near a week. That as well as they're taken care of these days, I'm sure that becomes a grind and a tough deal. I just think, in some of these games, you're expecting their stars, so to speak, to play at that level night in and night out. And that's not always going to be the case, especially earlier in the season. I mean, yeah, you'd like to see Mark Sears be more consistent night in and night out. But I think your expectation is that once you get into the new year and SEC play, and then down the road, he'll be that guy for you. Latrell Wrightsell lost there. I think that's big, but they have depth. Certainly across the board, guard is no different than that. They've made some decisions maybe on some red shirts. I don't know. Do you go back and think about changing some of that now if Wrightsell is done? So they've got some questions to answer. I think they've had some real positives. Mo Diabate, to me, has been exceptional. He's been exactly what they needed, especially in that Houston game, because that was bring your own guts, to quote Dabo Sweeney. And he is a guy that brings that sort of flair and flavor to the game. So it's been a mixed bag, an opportunity to set some things right. Won't be easy at the Dean Dome, but this isn't 84 Carolina either,
No,
with the freshman guard from Wilmington.
I heard about him. Yeah. All right. 3-game suspension for Aziz Al-Jair for the hit on Trevor Lawrence. You okay with that or not?
Yeah, I think you had to do that. I think you had to send that message as the league. It'll be interesting to see what the NFLPA's response is to that, because they're kind of in that situation of, defending the players in situations like this, but you got to protect your own players too, as the NFLPA. And so that kind of hit certainly isn't what you want your membership to become more exposed to. It was a brutal hit. I know there's a narrative out there. Trevor Lawrence certainly could have committed to the slide a little bit earlier, maybe, but it was still a pretty clear shot, in leading with the forearm and the brace and everything else to the head. I was there on Sunday, and that was certainly as loud as that stadium got, sort of the reaction to it, and then the fight and everything else that played out. But it's just a scary situation. I mean, we've seen so much of this now that we've almost become amateur experts on head injuries in football. When you see certain reactions by players, we've seen it from Tua in the past, it's not good. So it's a good thing Trevor's okay, first and foremost. But yeah, and I know D'Amico's catching some flack for sort of defending his guy, but I don't know, what else he's going to do in that situation. It was just a bad look for the league, and I thought the league office sort of responded the way it should have. I think some people would say he should be out for the rest of the year.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think you could make an argument for that because I know he issued the apology, all those things, but it looked like the intent was to go where he went with that shot.
Any word on how long Lawrence will be out?
He's in protocol, so it's kind of up in the air. Mac Jones came in and kind of led them back there in the fourth quarter. They missed a field goal that in retrospect, that could have been big in a 3-point game. But, I think the Jags are sort of in a dilemma with Trevor at this point. This is his fourth year. I wouldn't say he has maybe reached the level a lot of people thought he would at this point, 4 years in. He's had a lot of turnover at head coach and offensive coordinator. Those are the things you hate to see for a quarterback. He is absolutely the person you want as the face of your organization. There's no doubt about it. My comp for him at this point is kind of like Ryan Tannehill. I think that's what he can be. And I know I say that and people go, ooh. But if you go look at Ryan Tannehill's numbers, I mean, they won a lot of games in Tennessee, but the way they did it was they had a guy like Derrick Henry that they could hand it to 20 times a game. And Tannehill was a lot better when you had that kind of guy. The Jags, to me, as much as anything, don't have any of that. I love ETN, but it's probably time to move on. Tank Bigsby, when he's healthy, has done some really nice things. I think Tank is more of what they need than ETN because Tank can go get you some tough yards and give you some thump. I think they need to be more, more running back centric, more ground game centric, and help Trevor out, put some more pieces around him. Offensive line additions would be good, and kind of go from there. But it hasn't been what a lot of people were anticipating.
Yeah, I agree. And I love the use of thump as a noun. That's
it's good. I like that too. All right. Before we let you go, the video you posted, was the chicken salad as good as it looked on the video?
Yeah, that was good chicken salad, and the Plantation Club out at Ponte Vedra.
Nice.
That's Ponte Vedra Beach. We talked about this.
Yeah.
You
don't say Ponte Vedra.
Yeah. Adding that beach to it, that's another zero in the property taxes.
I played that track when Alabama played Florida State in the there was a red tide, I remember. During that time when Alabama played Florida State down in Jacksonville.
It wasn't a red tie at the stadium that
No, it was not. No, it certainly was not. I don't know how I snuck my way on.
That was one of the uglier football games I've ever attended in my whole life. That was just bad football. Bad football.
But enjoy.
Please tell me you ate the chicken salad with your pinky out. That's
I had to kind of be low key. My buddy Red Sox Kevin's a member out there, and he had to get me through the service entrance. So I rode in with Danny Noonan, and then I rode out with Carl Spackler. After the round, I was able to play from 3 to 3:45. That was my window. So
was there a bag of tea or something or some socks? For your time for your tea favor. Oh, that's good stuff.
Man.
Yep.
Good stuff. All right, Travis, let our listeners, let our viewers know how they can follow you. I know you got a lot going on, not only when you're talking Tide, Jags, chicken salad, man, you got so much going on. Tell them how they can be a part of it.
Yeah, just we're at X or Twitter, whatever you call it these days, at Travis Ryer. That's where you'll find me. And then Ryer on YouTube coming up tonight, Talking Tide with Tuscaloosa News sports columnist Chase Goodbread. So we'll have reaction to the latest college football playoff reveal. We'll talk some Alabama, Auburn football, and probably some Alabama basketball as well. So we'll have that tonight on Ryer on YouTube.
Always appreciated, Travis. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy. Thank you. On our City of Montgomery guest hotline, that's Travis Ryer joining us here today. Great coverage as well. Really appreciate him. I want to mention, Glenn, yes, there will be a Dreamland Pick 3 this weekend for championship weekend. And, of course, those games start on Friday. They go into Saturday. We got the NFL as well. I know the card is a little limited this week, but we will have a Dreamland Pick 3 for championship weekend. And then, Barry, then we'll start getting into our bowl prediction contest. So we're really excited about that in association with our friends at Yellowhammer News. And, of course, they're going to be a big part of our bowl prediction contest this year. Once all the bowl games are selected and the playoff games as well, we'll have you give you more information on that. But we got some great prizes up for grabs there. Look, we're just trying to make the bowl season more exciting. That's what we're here for. That's why we have the bowl prediction contest. We'll give you all the information, and our good friends at Yellowhammer News are certainly going to be helping us out with that. And speaking of Yellowhammer News, Barry, you can always check them out each and every day at yellowhammernews.com. There's a write-up about this show, a little synopsis of what we did on the program live earlier in the day with some video content as well. You can also check it out on Facebook, X, Instagram. They're posts throughout the day, not only on Yellowhammer News, but also Longshore and McKnight. You can check it out there as well on Facebook, YouTube, X, the whole deal. So if you miss any of it, there's so many ways to always check it out and recap it or just catch it at your convenience.
Let's take a break. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Shopping for a budget-friendly, reliable used car, or maybe a stunning new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Well, in Prattville, it's always a process that starts with the team of professionals from Stiver CDJR. Thanks to years of experience helping others in the local community enjoy premium service, low prices, and access to a wealth of amazing new and used cars, it's safe to say that Stiver's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram is the name to beat in Prattville. But hey, just don't take my word for it. Experience the Stiver's difference for yourself. Prices that will not be beat, a huge inventory, and knowledgeable, helpful sales associates. See why so many happy car and truck buyers shop at Stiver's CDJR, where price spells cars and trucks on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville.
Heads or tails, kick or receive, with the wind or against the wind. Buy your friend a Bud Light, buy a stranger a Bud Light. Go to your team's bar, go to the opposing team's bar. Buy around during the next truck commercial, buy around during the next talking duck commercial. If you're truly up for whatever this weekend, grab the perfect beer for whatever happens. Crisp, refreshing Bud Light. Make two plans and let the NFL coin toss make the call. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams. The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 28 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Hey, Terrence is already in. He has already submitted his Dreamland Pick 3 for this week. Terrence, good job. Hey, look, those sharps out there in Vegas, they get down early too. I can tell you, Terrence is on to something. So get in. Tell your first game kicks to get those picks, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com.
3 favorites.
Yeah.
Arizona State to cover -2 over Iowa State. Texas to cover 2.5 against Georgia. Oregon to cover 3.5 against Penn State. I like it. So
yeah,
there you
way
go.
to go. Danny from Margaritaville says Travis is getting as much time as Rodney. Wait a minute, you got a problem with that, Danny? I would think you'd love that.
Bob, lighten up, man.
Yeah, what's Bob talking about today?
Jeez. I mean, it's just, good Lord, Bob. How about a deep breath or something? Good gracious. Well, we're talking sports here on the program, Longshore and McKnight. Tonight is the big college football playoff release, and it's the final one. And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't mean a thing. There's not much you're going to be able to read into it. I agree with Travis. If you're a Bama fan and you're looking for a way into the playoff, you really got to be a big Clemson fan. I don't know, if Travis says the ACC is a one-bid league, is he saying Miami is out?
Well, I think that
right
loss
now
at Syracuse is pretty bad.
Oh, no doubt.
And I will say this about tonight's reveal. If you're an Alabama fan, I think it'll be interesting to see where they land. Where does the committee position Alabama tonight? Maybe looking ahead to next week. If you say, well, boy, I didn't expect to see us there, or even if they're even in the top 12. For them to make the move, I mean, Barry, if they're not in the top 12 tonight, I mean, is it realistic that they're going to make a big move next week, even if SMU wins?
See, that's well, if SMU wins, the chances are diminished. I'll say that.
I think if SMU wins, that helps Alabama. They've got to have Clemson lose for Alabama to get in the playoff.
They do not need Clemson to win. Clemson does not need to win for Alabama. I don't know, because ahead of them there are games that are going to impact who gets in. Again, if Arizona State, who in the latest rankings was number 16, they're 10-2 now with a big win last week over their rival. If Arizona State wins in the Big 12 championship game, they're in over Alabama. They leapfrog Alabama, and they leapfrog a lot of people. I'm just mentioning Alabama because we're trying to figure out the best scenario for Alabama to get in. So you need Arizona State to lose. Really, one of those. Arizona State 16, Iowa State was 18. Both of them are 10-win teams. Maybe both of them get in. I don't think so. But one of them does, and both of them right now are rated behind Alabama.
Yeah, and this just
Clemson
there
needs
again.
to lose.
This is there again beating the drum for the big boy conference. Wyoming, Mississippi State, Texas Tech, Kansas, Utah, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Central Florida, Kansas State, BYU, and Arizona. Those are the teams that Arizona State has played this year. Mm-hmm. Losing to Texas Tech by 8, losing to Cincinnati by 10. Are they worthy of a college football playoff position? Well, they won their conference. That's what's going to get the Big Ten and the SEC saying, no. You're not backdooring your way into a number 4 seeding, top 4 seeding, and you're not going to take one of our teams out of the playoff. A little of that, they're going to have enough of it. They're going to be done with those kind of teams.
That's the only thing that makes it all legit, John, is conference champions get. If you're even telling me, again,
Did you notice the lip line?
And concussion protocol. If you're telling me that they need to get rid of the conference champions, if you're telling that the television networks are saying, okay, let's devalue our conference championship games that we're playing big bucks in and make it to where it's just a conference championship. They don't do anything. No, of course they're not going to do that. I don't care if Arizona State wins this game by 50 or by 1. They win the Big 12 championship game. They have not only a berth into the conference, into the championship playoff, they get a bye. They don't have to play the first round.
All conference championship games are not created equally. And I think the Big Ten and the SEC are going to tell everybody that. They're not. I mean, one of these conference championship games is on Friday night on like FS1 or something. I mean, who cares? I mean, the ratings of that game will be abysmal. I mean, Flavor of Love will probably outdraw that on MTV Friday night. And that, well, you
I'm
shouldn't look
talking
at it that
facts,
way.
and
These
you're
kids
talking
are
Flavor of Love, which hadn't
These
been on in
kids are
15
playing
years.
football, and it shouldn't be that way. Okay, that's great and warm and fuzzy, but they're not saying that in TV executive boardrooms. Are going, get that crap off. We want something that's going to make us some money, and it ain't Arizona State. Arizona State.
I think pride goeth before a fall here. The smugness is just absolutely debilitating. I mean, it's like nothing else matters. We're great. You were terrible. We all know it. Time for everybody to not only acknowledge it, but to embrace it. We're phenomenal. And you others, you don't even deserve to field a team and breathe the same air on the football stadium than we breathe. That's healthy. That's real healthy.
I don't know if I'd go to that extreme and be that up front.
But it's close.
But I like it. I mean, I'm not arguing with you.
If you win the Big 12 conference, if you win the ACC, if you win the SEC, if you win the Big 12, yeah, they're not equal. I understand that. But you deserve to be in. Everybody can't be in the SEC. Everybody can't be in the Big Ten. Yeah. There's a lot of teams that John says they don't belong in the SEC right now.
Yeah. Mississippi State, I'm looking at you. I get it. I mean, I wonder how many people out there on our River Region Straw chat line can tell me who's even in the Big 12. I mean, I had to look it up. I'm thinking Big 12, who's in that league anymore? I mean, Central Florida's in the Big 12.
This is another one that I love. John, he hadn't taken the time to look it up or pay attention to it. It doesn't matter.
No.
And not only does he not know, he's proud he doesn't know. I revel in my ignorance. I don't know, and not only do I not know, I shouldn't be expected to know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, it just doesn't fall in Major League Baseball. Do they have a team? I forgot about that. So
you know how many years John kept calling them the Montreal Expos when they had already left town and shut down Olympic Stadium.
Joe Carter, man, what a catcher for the Expos. Guy was great. But to me, I think that the executives, hey, look, if they get Arizona State and Boise and SMU and all these teams, they're going to be up there. Their heads are going to be exploding. Whoa. This isn't what we want. This isn't what we bargained for here. So do we have an SEC Big Ten play-in game? As I mentioned earlier in the show, don't discount it. Kirk, I'm telling you, just remember where you heard it first.
Okay. Penn State and Oregon. Blue Bloods. They're Big Ten.
Penn State's
they're playing for the championship by definition.
Oregon's kind of a nouveau riche kind of team, but they've been around. They played in a national championship game, been in the playoffs. Oregon's a team that'll prove money can buy you a football team. And maybe they have built their program in a different way than others have done it. But they have certainly proven themselves, maybe in a short period of time, but they've proven they're worthy.
We're talking about two teams in the big be-all, end-all power conference that John keeps bringing up that are a combined, 23-1? And even then, John's like,
Well, here's the thing about Penn State. Once again, who have they played? And maybe James Franklin, knowing that he's got a shorter window to prepare for Oregon, won't throw up all over himself because he's proven in years past when he knows a big game's coming up on the schedule, completely folds like a tent. He can beat all these other crappy teams in the Big Ten, but there's some that he can't. Maybe not having as much time to dwell on Oregon, he's got a shot. I don't think so. I think Oregon will win that game. They still play that in Indianapolis, the Big Ten championship?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a disadvantage for Oregon. I mean, Indianapolis is like in Penn State's backyard compared to where Eugene is from Indianapolis. That's kind of a tough road game for a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, especially if we go to what John wants, and you have to have a secondary Big Ten game being played that same day, and then the next week you've got to go to a first-round game, and all of a sudden, suddenly that's okay.
Yeah, don't cry me a river about how many games they're playing. As a matter of fact, I think the Alabama High School Athletic Association state championship games are this week. That's like 17 games these kids have played. Hey, it's 2 lip flutters this hour.
No, he didn't go lip flutter. He goes lip flutter and the window closes. Argument 1. First one on social media. Whenever you get into a Twitter argument with somebody, the first one to say bro or dude, like bro, you don't know.
I don't consider
but the lip flutter
one.
is a closer. That's like Trevor Hoffman's changeup. That's like Mariano Rivera's cutter. When John goes, I'm sitting there at the plate like, now what do I do?
I mean, that's like no further questions, Your Honor. I'm done. I mean, I'm through. I mean, I'm not saying I won the argument, but I have no more questions.
There you go.
I'm done. Yeah.
Let's take a break.
I know Chris the Bammer is chomping at the bit. Yes, we do have the Victoryland 777 topic wheel loaded up, ready to go. We'll get to it when we return.
Yeah, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Enjoy all the food, drink, fun, and winning at Victoryland. An elevated entertainment value, the best overall casino experience, and the highest jackpot payouts makes Victoryland the place to be. Go to Victoryland.com to find out more about their incredible giveaways, daily promotions, and free play opportunities. 777 Casino, simulcast Thoroughbred, and Greyhound Racing are all within a short drive from anywhere in the Southeast. Victoryland, I-85, Exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. At Victoryland, you can be a winner too.
Happy holidays from Marguerite's. And every year, we do an unbelievable $99 Christmas special. And it's got to be 14-karat white or yellow gold, and it's got to be high-quality Marguerite's diamonds. Well, this year, it's the best one ever. It's individual 14-karat letters that we've cut out and added a 7-point diamond to on a 14-karat necklace. Impossible. That's right. All the initial diamond necklaces, $99 at Marguerite's till Christmas.
Hey, this is Barry McKnight from Longshore and McKnight, telling you about our friends at River Region Straw. You're not buying sticks or stems and pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color, that'll last all season long. They've got locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small. From a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load, River Region Straw also has seasoned firewood for the cold days and nights ahead. Pickup is available, and your order can be delivered if you like. They can even spread your pine straw if that's what you want to have happen, for sure. Call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw and firewood needs at River Region Straw.
Already back at it here, about 18 minutes to the top of the hour. Tobias, I see you today. Good points there. And Kevin says, I don't think Flavor of Love is on anymore, John, but if it was, you'd be right. Flavor of Love outranking the Big 12 Conference Championship game.
This was a favorite of John's because one time they had, I was at the Auburn, Florida game.
Correct.
That got outdrawn by VH1 Flavor of Love, which is interesting, which is good.
It was like 3 episodes of Flavor of Love. A couple of them were repeats, and it still outrated Auburn and Florida back when USA Today had the cable ratings in the paper on like Wednesdays.
Now,
really?
It starred former Public Enemy rapper Flavor Flav.
Boys!
And it ran from 2006 to 2008.
Only a 2-year run?
Oh,
show
3
was great.
seasons, 2, 6,
Oh, okay.
7, and 8.
Yeah.
That is 16 years ago.
With
And we're
Brigitte
still-
Nielsen. Remember, wasn't she in that
Yeah.
show? Yeah.
Yep, she was. 20 different ladies compete for Flavor Flav's heart as they live together in a mansion in Encino, California. He is helped
man.
in his quest by his bodyguard and chauffeur named Big Rick.
Oh, yeah. Big
This
Rick?
is what
Heck
we're
yeah.
talking about here. This is the cogent, logical, fact-filled discourse we have. The Big 12 title game would not outrate an episode of Flavor.
Well, we
of
do
Love.
have the history of ratings against football games in Flavor of Love. It's there. 15 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, Gern, what do you say we get that Victorland 777 topic wheel locked and loaded? Get some WD-40 on that wheel to make sure she spins at a good rate. And let's see what we got on the wheel today. Woo, spin that thing.
Why do they call it 3-in-1 oil? I don't know.
Do they still sell that?
Yeah.
Vegas / Bama. But I'm not talking about the basketball team because they were out there for a week, as Travis mentioned earlier. And I'll be the first to tell you, Vegas is a 3-night town, max. You don't want to be in Vegas longer than 3 days. Nor
And you don't want to be there. You don't want to be in Vegas for only one.
No.
Two is
like a
good.
martini.
Yeah.
Like a martini. One's not enough. Three's too many. So it's same thing with Vegas.
Hey.
Yeah. One more, yeah, but cut me off after that. Two's the limit.
I don't care what I say. Cut me off after 2.
Cut me off after 2. You don't want to stay in Vegas more than 3 days. And Bama was out there a week. I get it. And I wondered what those guys were doing.
Vegas.
But I touched on it earlier. What would Vegas think about Bama against some of these other teams that are allegedly going to make the playoff? They'd be a favorite against 75% of them. A couple of them double digits. But, okay, it doesn't matter what Vegas thinks. But, as I said earlier today, Bama went from plus 100 to minus 186 to make the college football playoff in Vegas. What do they know? What does Vegas know?
Hey, and maybe it happens. Maybe it does. The idea that they would be favored against such and such and so. Well, why don't we just play the whole thing out in Vegas? Okay, Vegas, we've got this whole thing. All right, these are the teams that would be most favored against the other teams. We'll put them in there. Okay, we've got Alabama versus Notre Dame in the first round. Okay, who would Vegas have favored in that one? Okay, got it. We don't need to play it. Okay, Alabama moves on. Okay, who do they have in the second round? Ohio State. Who would be favored in that game? Ohio State? Okay, Alabama, you're out. I mean, Bama was favored in 2 games. They lost.
That's true.
So
that is true. I'm
playing
using that as kind of a
game
barometer. Oh, you're going to play the game. Oh, there's no doubt. You got to play. I'm just using that as a measuring stick of
Vegas.
The eye test, the national perception, who is perceived to be better, but you do have to win it on the field. There's no doubt.
They're trying to get money on both sides, right?
Sure. And, Saban used that analogy a couple of years ago when they got out. I said, Nick, preach on, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right. Vegas and Bama. Now, the Vegas Bowl, I don't know enough about the Vegas Bowl, but I think you got to be way down the pecking order.
Yeah, it's not
SEC
high.
Make the Vegas Bowl.
It's not. It's like the RPG Technologies Las Vegas Bowl at Allegiant.
Okay.
That is the only one that John would even spend
Consider.
a passing moment to think for a second about. And to him, that matchup doesn't really matter.
Mm-mm.
It's Vegas. That's
And
the
again,
only.
probably, and I have a history of this, Barry, I probably would not make kickoff on time. That's happened before in a bowl game.
More than once. Yeah.
More than once. Okay.
I think that was the Utah game in the Sugar Bowl.
It was, and the Oklahoma game where the fight broke out about 10 rows in front of me. When that lady tried to stage dive or whatever it was called. Vault,
over an entire row. Yeah.
All right, Gern, let's spin it once again here on the Victorland 777 topic wheel, where you can be a winner too. Okay. Oh, man. All right, we talked about Monday Night Football earlier today. Great game, even though the teams weren't necessarily great. But, Barry, we got a great card this week. And, man, I got to give it to these Thursday night games. Detroit's playing great. Their second Thursday night game in a row, hosting Green Bay. It kicks off on Thursday, but I believe we got a full slate of games. But we do have, once again, it's the latest in the regular season that you can have an off week. 6 teams have an off week. Not 16, 6 teams have an off week this week.
Quick thought here. If it does anything like this past week, it was an amazing week in the NFL. They played 16 games this past week, counting last night, in the NFL. 12 of them were decided by one score. It really should have been a record 13, except Jameis Winston threw another interception in the end zone, and so his third of the game. Yeah, Packers-Lions. Packers are quietly good. They're 9-3. Lions 11-1. That's Thursday, the Amazon game. And then Sunday, the Jags behind Mac Jones will visit the Titans. Elsewhere, Saints are at the Giants.
That's a win. They can win that one.
A combined 6-18. Now playing without Taysom Hill, which was
even though the Saints pooped the bed Sunday in the Dome against the Rams. Chris,
guess what?
Chris, the 14 means it's week 14.
Yes. Yeah. Guess what? Sunday night game next weekend on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
Chargers and the Chiefs in Kansas City. Whoa.
Oh, go figure.
Wow. That's weird. And then Monday night, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas.
This
is Monday night. The 5-7 Cowboys against the 4-8 Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 4-8. They're one game worse than the Cowboys. They're playing in Dallas. And Cincinnati's a 5.5-point favorite.
And Cincinnati has a very recognizable quarterback. Played at LSU. You might have heard of him.
He's having a great year, but the team around him stinks.
So let's just use that Monday night game as an example. Why do you think ESPN wants that game? These teams suck. They're not any good.
Mm-hmm.
But eyeballs, ratings, helmet game, prominent teams. Could that filter down to maybe, I don't know, how the college football playoff decides who gets in the 12-team tournament?
Bama fans know. They're not buying this, John. Bama fans know that their resume to get into the college football playoff should be strong enough on its own merit. They don't have to resort to, well, maybe we don't deserve to get in, but maybe it'll be our brand that'll get us in. They're not resorting to cheap ploys. They take pride in their accomplishments and are not saying, well, if they want a lot of people to watch, then they'll choose us, rather than we deserve to be in.
Okay, I'll go along with that. Privately, oh boy, I hope they take us.
There's no doubt about that. Whatever it takes, it takes to get us in.
They're going to use that same old Bama stance.
Strength of schedule. It's strength of schedule.
Top 25 teams. You kidding me?
Yeah.
All right, let's spin it one more time and see what we got.
And then take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. Spin the wheel, see what's going on. Man, it's all greased up today. Look at that thing spinning. Love it. All right, college football playoff tonight.
Yeah.
Are you expecting any surprises?
It's the last one, and the one that really counts is on Sunday after the games. It's the last one. I'm interested in a couple of teams. Again, a lot of it's not going to matter because you've got games this weekend that will really decide. I'm wondering how far Ohio State falls.
Yep.
If they fall, say, to 6 or 7, Ohio State would be 10-2, or is 10-2. Georgia is 10-2. I would say Georgia's 10-2 is stronger than Ohio State's 10-2. I would be surprised if Georgia is not rated more highly than Ohio State in this poll. Maybe a little bit, but Ohio State is a big dropper. It should be Oregon, Texas, Penn State, and remember, Notre Dame cannot be a first-round bye.
Yeah.
Because they're not in a conference.
And I think in
the big movers, I think, will be Georgia, and maybe not so much, but they're still moving. I think Tennessee moves up a good bit. The Vols, John, are in good position, right?
Yeah, I'm interested to see where Arizona State and Clemson fall, because if those two teams are, I don't know, maybe Arizona State's out of the top 12, maybe they're 12, who knows? Clemson maybe as well could be out 11 or 12, and either of those teams or both of them win their championship game, and they're going to vault from maybe out of the poll or 11th or 12th to a top 4 position.
To a bye, yep. I like it.
They got to reevaluate that.
You win your championship in your conference, you deserve all the love. And by the way, Danny, I just said Alabama should stick to their resume. It's a good enough resume now to get in. I just literally said that. I'm saying that they don't need to rely and hope on their brand. I just said that, Danny. I don't think he listens. He just posts. We'll take a break. Return to wrap it up in a moment. Longshore in McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Is there a certain Ford car, truck, or SUV that piques your interest, but you are not quite sure if it fits into your budget? Or perhaps you want to upgrade your current vehicle, but you absolutely refuse to deal with the same old aggressive and pushy song and dance that is found at the average car dealership? Then Stivers Ford is here to show you a better way. Their knowledgeable and courteous sales staff, the largest Ford inventory in Alabama, and of course, price. At Stivers Ford in Montgomery, Price sells cars. 4000 Eastern Boulevard at the Troy Highway, or check out their inventory at stiversfordofmontgomery.com.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Boy, checking out the River Region Straw chat line this morning. It's hopping. Dennis Mitchell says I'm jaded, Barry. He says
hey, no question.
Says I'm jaded.
Yeah. We all know who really belongs. You can have your little bracket and you can do your little seedings and give your little conference championship a pat on the head, but we know, really.
Dennis, are you really excited about Alabama playing Illinois in the Reliant Quest Gator Bowl or the Camping World Citrus Bowl on New Year's Eve at like 11 in the morning? Really? I could possibly miss that entire game and not watch a second of it. Just check the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah. We have got coming up tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to recap the college football playoff rankings. Again, this one doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
None of them really do. But this one probably means more than any of the other ones so far because we're going to see a lot of different stuff that may ride into a postseason bid.
Oh, yeah.
We're also going to preview a little basketball tomorrow.
Well, we are,
huge
Barry.
night.
I believe our man Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball analyst, will join us tomorrow, and that he will become a weekly feature on our program. Bart's been a part of what
Barry
and I've been doing for quite a long time, and he knows the sport of college basketball, played at Mississippi State, was part of their Final Four team and Bart will join us tomorrow to check in on some big matchups. Of course, Alabama at North Carolina, Auburn at Duke. Also, C.J. Duncan from Yellowhammer News will join us tomorrow as well to recap rivalry weekend and look ahead to the conference championship games. And, of course, we always want to hear from you and get your thoughts on our River Region Straw chat line, our Mark Reed's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox, longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Yes, we are having a Dreamland Pick 3 this week, so get those entries into us by the time your first game kicks. And, yes, we will be having our bold prediction contest in conjunction with our friends at Yellowhammer News, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll tell you more about that as soon as we get our bowl games locked and loaded and we know who's going where.
That's exactly right. We'll get all that ready. This time next week, you will have your opportunities to get in and win prizes on our Longshore and McKnight Bowl Prediction Contest. It's a limited window because the bowls begin before you know it in just a couple of weeks, John. Cannot wait. Give me the ReliaQuest Bowl. Give it to me. Give me all of them. I'm there for
I'm
it.
with you. Fantastic. I got a lot going on tomorrow. Don't forget, you can always check us out. We're looping all day long, 24 hours a day. Check us out on YouTube, on Spotify, on X, on Instagram, Facebook, and, of course, yellowhammernews.com. There'll be a write-up and video content on their website. And check them out on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So many ways to check us out, and we really appreciate everybody liking and subscribing and spreading the word. Tell your friends, your associates, everybody you know about Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
That is our Tuesday show. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.